These two divergent concepts, they literally go together when you're looking to empower yourself through the challenges of the grief that you've experienced. Losing somebody can actually become an opportunity to find yourself. It doesn't seem like it should even go together. But understand, because you can't do anything about the loss, with the exception of one thing, shifting your perspective to see the loss differently. That's when it can work to your advantage. And that's when these two concepts can actually merge to empower you. Life, it's not simple at all. Your grief is bring that to the forefront of your mind. You won't be able to pretend that it doesn't hurt. You can't be like the old version of yourself because something has changed you forever. You may desire to return to your past familiars. Honestly, that's all right. But you can't stay there because now you're dealing with something totally different. Your world has changed. You no longer have the same freedoms and luxuries or experiences that you had before the grief occurred. You have literally been forced to evolve. Instead of looking to rebuild your house with the same old tools that you had before the loss, you now have a new set of tools that have been born from the experience that you have. It came through change, but those experiences, they can allow you to grow through the grief you're dealing with. Lois Tonkin, she created a model based off of a similar way of thinking. The model is called the Tonkin model of grief. And what Tonkin stated in an article, she said, in this way, they, the grievers, continue the process of integrating the loss with their lives and moving forward. What she basically was saying was that you can intertwine the challenges. What that ends up doing is putting you in a position to be able to become a new and better version of yourself. Change is uncomfortable. And at times, you are literally going to feel like you're being victimized on multiple levels. What you have to do is change your feelings of victimhood. And you have to understand that this can actually be an opportunity for you to be reborn. You can use the experiences to literally recraft your narrative. The circumstances that had you in grief, it prepares you for your next adventures. The discomfort that you've gone through, it's happened for a few reasons. One, the loss itself. The feeling is extremely powerful. It takes away something you love. Another thing is to change. That's uncomfortable for humans. We're not used to change. We're not used to moving outside of our comfort zones. Another thing is it presents a new reality. And anything new is scary. Think about certain things that you've already gone through. You have to maybe relearn them. Some new things that you have to learn. And you have to continue to move forward. Although it may be confusing and scary and unnerving, you're still going to have to figure out a way forward through these challenges. Another thing is that feeling of the lack of control. You feel like you're in a car driving, but you're really not navigating. You're just moving. That is probably the scariest feeling because you feel like an observant passenger, even though you're in the driver's seat, and you can't control the vehicle's movements. All these things that you feel, they're actually valid and totally disrupting your life. But because you've been used to the patterns of your familiar, and now they're broken. First off, just because they're broken doesn't mean you're broken. Understand that fact. Realize there is a time to mourn. During that mourning time, it's going to be challenging. You're going to feel like you can't make it through. But over time, that period of mourning, that period that you're going through, and it's different for every person that's going through a grieving situation. There is no timeline. It's not one of those, oh, it's going to be 6 months and I'll be better. For some people, it may take a couple of years. You have to understand that over time, whatever time period you choose, you have to accept the fact that the loss has happened. You can't go back. You can't fix that. It has happened. But what you can do is make the choice to move forward. Make that choice to use that grief to your advantage. The period that you're going through, the grief, the mourning, there's no timeline on it. But once you get to that point where you are tired of being sick and tired of letting the grief hold you down, you'll tell yourself, I do have an alternative. I have a choice. I can allow the grief to continue to be an anchor that's going to hold me down. Or I can find a way to elevate and find a way to use this grief to my advantage. When you make that choice, what you're actually doing is honoring the person or thing that you lost. You see, they wouldn't want you to continue to live your life in a negative type of way. They loved you just as much as you loved them. And the way you're going to honor the loss is by simply saying, it happened. I miss you. I wish you were here. But since you're not, I'm going to show you what I've been able to do since your loss and how your loss has given me an incredible amount of strength. Now, there are some mourners that just don't want to move forward because they feel in their mind that them moving forward is doing a disservice to the person they lost. The reality is that person or thing or circumstance, it's gone. And you're still here. You have to continue to live. It's the only way for you to be able to address any form of function in your life going forward. Now, it's always going to change you. The grieving experience itself, it changes people. They're not going to be the same person. You can do a few things that allow you to move forward, and in moving forward, you will reduce the experiences of grief. The grief monster gets smaller. You literally reduce the powerful grip the grief has on you because you have made the choice to no longer stay the victim. You actually honor the love of the person, place, or thing that you lost because you're now acknowledging it. Although it hurts, the grief, it has nothing to fight you with. You've successfully taken that tool away from it. Once you do that, you put grief in an inferior position. It allows you to show it no mercy. Just like it's been holding you down, you now get to reverse that and use its negative power to your advantage. There was another article that was talking about mental health. It was in Libero magazine. And it summarized this concept also. The author stated, your grief should not keep you from living the life that you want for yourself. Remember, no longer grieving actively, That doesn't mean you forget the person. Like I said, there were some people that just choose not to move forward. When you shift your perspective, you're not going to be one of those people. Instead, you're going to be a person that says, it's happened. I'm going to choose to accept the experience. I'm going to realize I don't have to stay in this negative position. I can choose to move forward. I don't deserve to believe anything that grief is telling me about I need to stay in this. I need to stay miserable. It's not mandatory to live in misery. What you should be considering is what you're going to do to get to that better version of yourself, because that's what you deserve. Send me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Go to my website, jl3motivation.com. Book an appointment with me so together we can actually talk about the best way forward to help you be able to navigate the challenges and empower yourself through the grieving experience that you're going through. Like my channel, hit the bell. Make sure that you shoot me a notification, because I want to make sure that people realize they can use the challenges to their advantage. I'll talk to you next week. In the meantime, figure out the best way to turn your grief into your gift.